Saan? Nasisit. Ano pa dapat? Pwede ba?
Don't here. Just throw.
Kaya pala galapitan eh. Pinapakain mo pala. Hungry daw. Hungry. Baka bawal magpaid na.
No,
Ayun.
I'm hungry.
No.
How to drop your phone in the water?
Ha?
So no more phone for you.
I'm taking video.
Give me this.
So just to give you a couple of safety tips, we've got 2 exits at the front and 2 exits at the back. And the only thing I ask that you do not sit or stand on the steps. And we have life rafts on top of the boat as well. Now this is Paddington Basin, otherwise known as Browning's Island. This is where all our little feathered friends live, in the middle here. Take a look at them.
Ano?
She's not right at all. I just don't know where our baby Signet is. I hope he's alright. The Swan Sanctuary coming out. She was supposed to be here to meet me, but she might at the end here, so I'm going to
Ako may patay na yata ng takbo na.
Saan? Oo. Nakalugmok na doon.
I think.
Wow.
I knew it was going underground. It's going underground.
They're the only birds that are actually totally monogamous in their partners.
Yeah.
No, it's dreadful. So she's going to be morning.
Yeah. We got a caravan
They're very territorial actually.
Yeah.
These two really Yorkshire 7 and 8 should get one. Very.
It's criminal next to.
It is, they belong to the Swan, don't they? To the Queen. The Queen. And that's what I'm saying, these bloody implementations are useless. Okay folks, so this is Blomfield Road moorings. This is all private moorings along here. A very cheap way to live in the West End of London. You cannot buy a studio apartment in Little Venice for less than £500,000. So anything between 120 and 160 grand buys you a lifetime mooring and your boat. So it's a very cheap way to live right in the centre of the West End.
Look, the sail.
Yes, I've heard of it. It's absolutely perfect. So I've got a mooring here. My friend kids on me. So you buy the £100 mooring, it's lifetime mooring for life. That's it. And if you want to sell it like a car registration, then whatever boat you get there, £20 boat, £60 boat. So for 160 grand. Usually you've got 200 pairs of shoes. Right.
These are more
So lots of famous people also live in Maida Vale. We have on Blomfield Road on the left hand side here we've got Ronnie Wood, the Rolling Stones lives here, Paul Weller from the Jam, who else? Noel Gallagher from Oasis has got his house on the left, and his next door neighbour is Bill Kerbishley, the manager of The Who, and also Glenn Matlock from the Sex Pistols, lots of actors. Phil Daniels lives here, Terence Stamp, Chrissy Hind, yeah, she's a local, isn't she, Ree? There's my little boat there, the green one with the pansies on the back. Robbie, not the horrible one in front, the one behind. I've got a lovely school teacher that rents it off me.
Oh, it's cute.
That's Ruby. Have you not seen Ruby, Ree?
No.
Yeah. Oh, I took it out. I mean, he went surfing in the summer, so I untie the ropes, push them out, come out like a car, and then my parking on the way back was dreadful, by the way. I just left it in the middle and somebody else did it for me. It was pretty bad, actually. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how people live.
You never used to live there. Kate Moss.
On one of the boats?
No, in one of the houses. And one of 3
Now we're just coming under the Lady Hill Tunnel, 282 metres long. Now if you'll notice that the towpath ends on the sec, so when these boats were being pulled by horses, the horse would be untethered, taken up over the top of the bridge by one of the children generally, and hang on, just making sure, I think Ed's seen the light. We've got a light coming through, which means there's no traffic light system, we have to kind of wait. Okay, there's going to be boat wars in a minute. There's a go boat trying to get past a big narrow boat. A bit silly, but there you go. So we're going to go for it anyway. We're kind of under Lady Hill Tunnel, and as I say, when the boats have the horses pulling them, how would you get an engineless boat through a tunnel? Well, 2 men would literally lay on the top of the boat, on a plank of wood either side, literally hanging on for grim death. And they would use their legs to push themselves through the inside of the tunnel. This was known as legging, of course. Very dangerous and tough work. This would take them about an hour to leg through this tunnel. But there are some tunnels around the country which would take up to 6 hours. There's a couple of tunnels near Birmingham which are 3.5 miles long, and I cannot imagine legging for 6 hours. Yeah, pitch black, candles. Depending what they're carrying, if they're carrying gunpowder, they couldn't even have candles. Pretty dangerous job. Now this tunnel was built between 1812 and 1840. It was all hand dug by the Irish navigators, as were the canals. 800 men worked on this tunnel, and it's a little bit wonky, and that is, I think, can be forgiven because there was no machinery involved. It was just pitchforks digging this tunnel out. Now this is the Edgewood Road we're going underneath here, so it's quite a major road from Marble Arch up to Kilburn.
Mahaba.
So Sunday's on the Canal.
Dalawa na.
May dahilan. Hindi the hill tunnel.
Did we stop?
Very exciting.
What's up with the carpet?
Did we say something else to make it more exciting?
Whoa!
Completely self-sufficient. They're all growing their own veg. They've got pizza ovens at either end of the towpath. Quite a nice little community going on here. Lots of dogs and kids and cats and all sorts. Now some of these places are just like having a 1 and 2 bedroom apartment. They've got central heating and power showers and TV and Wi-Fi and all the rest of it really. Now just up above there is the electrical substation that looks after the whole of North London. So not the most picturesque place to live, but nonetheless this is a very, very sought after mooring, Liston Grove. A little bit cheaper than Little Venice. Probably pick up a mooring, lifetime mooring along here for about 70 grand. Of course you have the added attraction of being able to untie your ropes and go off on a holiday, go out for a day trip, and then when you come back you know that your mooring is waiting there for you. Now this boat we're on was actually built in 1937, it's one of our oldest fleet, and it was built by the same people that built the Titanic, Allen and Wolff. It's in the history books, it's a listed boat, and this was actually built to carry coal. So where you guys are all sitting today, all the seats would have been completely full up with coal here. No pillar and the last pillar. Now also, just have a quick look to the left of you. See this tree here with a big split down the middle? On the left, that was actually a sapling when the gunpowder blew up, and it survived it. It's actually got a big split down the middle, but 200 years later, still survived it. There's those notches. Blow up bridge.
Anak, sit down, bawal. Bawal tumayo, bawal. Sit down please, magagalitan ka, sige. Sit down lang.
Much bigger kitchen, and it just means that they can't go out. They can't go out on a little jolly. They have to have a tug to take them in and out. So, but it's a nice place to be, right in the heart of Primrose Hill. This is the Cumberland Turn, and just up ahead of us is the Feng Shang Chinese floating restaurant. This is a 3-story building. Started off as a very small narrowboat restaurant, and now it's got 3-story pagoda that can't move anywhere anymore.
Oo, dito lang.
Yeah, we found it. That is another one, guys.
Okay, so just an update on the Swan.
Rainbow big.
Swan lady's been out. The little girl that's on the side is completely covered in oil. So they've taken her away to clean her. They won't take the dead one. So they've just told me to ring the council. 3 hours I spent ringing the council on Friday. Just can't believe it, no one will go out and get. I'm going to have to go out on a little boat and get it because I can't bear it. I can't ring anybody else. It's weird, you know, because
What the? Okay, that's it. Yes. Later. I will eat it. But I would like some
swimming in it. Yeah, absolutely swimming in it. So come on, see.
Very nice.
Digested it, haven't they?
Welcome restaurant.
That's what she's licking off the oil, isn't she?
Yeah, so it's really fabulous. Don't you do something about
But
that?
the dad's died because it's obviously ingested so much. Bloody boats.
Where's the baby one though?
Hey,
Like,
bloody boats. Now this lovely church on the left-hand side, St Mark's Church, built in 1857, pretty much destroyed during the Battle of Britain, and they rebuilt this and reopened it only 17 years later, and opened it for its centenary in 1957. This is also known as the Zoo Church. They do lots of services here, and they do a very, very good afternoon tea when the cafe's open. They've been doing that for about 200 years here, Primrose Hill. This road, it's all about the neighbours. Yeah, and this is Alan Bennett's house, that's where she was parked up. So she literally turned up in an old van, asked him to use the toilet, which he let her do, and then she pulled her van into his front yard and lived there for 15 years. And he just let her, it was like, bless his heart. Yeah,
a year and
yeah.
you put some electric through for us.
But she was a cantankerous old male.
She was awful,
Yeah, she's
you
dreadful.
felt sorry for her.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful. So these are £10 million plus, these places. Obviously they've got not just a garden, but they've got their own private mooring as well at the end of the garden.
There's a hole in the house.
This is Daisy the cow. She needs a bit of a paint job. She's a bit sun bleached, does she? Who has a cow? Who has a Frisian cow on their balcony? Could be. Jude Law has a place around here. Russell Brand. Kate Moss had a house in around this area as well. This obviously, back in the 1800s, this would have been a really horrible place to be. It would have been smelly and paddleboarding yoga and kayaking. They take out the pirate castle and the Black Pearl. They all dress up as pirates. In fact, there was a load of them this morning dressed up as pirates. Quite nice. So it's a very nice place. It's a non-profit making place. A bit quiet at the moment. Would usually be packed to the girls' here. Wow, size that dog. That is one big husky and two noisy little yappy ones.
I just got it from somewhere.
It is, yeah.
They got a small.
I don't know what to do.
It's called the Napoleon complex.
Where is it? Napoleon complex.
Whoa,
Yeah, luckily,
that's nice.
which is great. In the summer, they're people just chucking their paddleboards in, thinking it's fine. So we're just coming into our final drop into Camden. You see up ahead of us is the famous horse bridge there, being used in lots of films and videos and things. Now that's where the horse would be taken up over the top of the bridge, and then the barges would be pushed down through and we're going to do it.
Terrible rain this morning, but now
Yesterday was awful, wasn't it?
it's just Sam walked to us way out for a walk. Yeah. That's it for you, if you're grateful for the weekend break.
Dito. Dito nga tayo kahapon.
Ito yung tingilan